5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Yeah, we're finally on. I had a problem tonight, and I'll tell you something. I really don't enjoy having to do business with some guy in India. All right, but anyway, we had some problems with our internet connection and so on and so forth. And I figured I would at least come on for a short time now and do whatever. What happened is that all of a sudden I noticed something happened today. And all of a sudden I noticed that my Wi-Fi in the house wasn't working. And so I had to check the Wi-Fi to see why it wasn't working. And I couldn't figure it out. So then I called FiOS. And I finally decided to just close the whole show down because I had to get this thing solved. And I get some guy in India. All right. Hello, sir. What can I do for you? And I couldn't understand a word he was saying, but eventually we got all my my stuff back online. And in fact, if I look, I probably will be able to find that I'm able to get all my. Yeah, there it is. There it is. They're all slowly coming up. There we go. Jeez, So anyway, so I figured I'd just come on here and we just try and do some kind of a show. And look, I don't even have my hat on, and I got a haircut today too. So let me just turn myself on here, make myself active. And if you want to call, we would love to hear from you. Let me see here. If any of you are even paying attention now. But I had to get this problem solved. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to do a show with part of my system being on the fritz. So anyway, hello there. How are you? So if anybody wants to call, probably everybody's given up on me tonight. And that's okay. That's all right. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Josh Wheeler. He's calling. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I've got to, let me see here. Let me first go here and say hello to Josh. Hello, Josh. Are you there?
Hello. How you doing?
There he is. Hold on a second. Let me put you on the panel here. Okay. All righty. Do you ever have these problems where you have to talk to some guy in India who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing?
Oh, I would try and avoid that at all costs.
Well, normally I haven't had to call FiOS. I mean, I have to admit that for the most part, FiOS has been okay. And then today, at some point, I found that all my network drives disappeared from my desktop. And I couldn't figure out why. And something happened, I think. And then we had to reset, and then we had to reset the names. And
yeah, I couldn't deal with that.
And all doing it with somebody who doesn't speak English, basically.
Yeah, believe it or not, the company that I work for, as big as it is, Sherwin-Williams Paints, all their accounts payable is basically outsourced to people that work for the company, but they don't do it here in the States. I mean,
yeah,
it's in Malaysia, worldwide. And I work now in procurement, purchasing. So I order things and make, POs and deal with vendors and all that. And when there are PO issues and whatnot, or vendor issues, you always have to go through these people in fucking Malaysia. And of course, they're 12 hours apart, so you can never actually talk to anyone. It's always by email, and it's a fucking mess.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's it's a company that does, $15 billion a year or whatever in revenue, and
Well, here the problem that I have with and maybe I'm like an old fart saying this because this is now already maybe 20 years ago, but there was a time when all the this customer support was being done from, in most cases, Silicon Valley, and what you had working there were a bunch of nerds who knew how things worked. Now this guy,
Yeah.
I'm sure, doesn't know how things work. He's got a book there and it says he can't get his thing. Okay, here's how you do it. Okay. Excuse me, I have to check with something. Yeah, he has to check with the book, right, to
Right.
figure it out. Ultimately, I could
Yeah.
have solved this problem myself if I had known what to do. There's a thing called My FiOS on my iPad. I can go to it. I can go to my Wi-Fi, and then I can reset the name and the password. So
Yeah.
I could have done it myself, but
Yeah, it's just, and even some of those people are actually really smart, but they just can't communicate with you
yeah,
how you need to communicate.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I always get all these emails, in this broken English, like please advice, and it's spelled advice. It's like,
Police
no, you mean
advice.
please advise, what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just like, fuck it, I mean, what can you do about it?
Yeah. So, anyways, I was having this problem, and I didn't want to have to sit here and do a show and worry about it because it wasn't working. And somehow, I don't know what happened, but something happened today where my service went out, and I lost all my little. I have like a bunch of network drives and so on, and the network drives disappeared on me. And so I've just put them back on, and I didn't think about it until all of a sudden, before I went on the air, just right after I went on the air, I tried to go to one of my Wi-Fi stations, and none of them were there. And so all of a sudden, hello, Phil. I wondered
Hey, how you doing?
what the hell was happening, And so I just took myself off the air because I knew that I had to solve this problem. Otherwise, I was going to go crazy. So this problem was solved, and then he had me like get a paper clip and stick it in the hole in the back of the machine to reset it. Okay, so
That's not a good idea sometimes.
no. The reset buttons usually take you can use a ballpoint pen. I think
No,
would
no,
fit
no,
in
no. I
there.
wasn't talking about damaging it. I was just sometimes hitting those reset buttons fucks up other stuff.
Well, what it did is it reset. I wasn't reading my Wi-Fi. Okay, I wasn't being able to get to my Wi-Fi system. Okay, so what this did is it reset the machine. Well, what it reset was the passwords as well, and the
Well-
name and the name of the station. Okay, so that we had to reset. And he reset it for me, but I could have done that myself. But next time I'll know better,
Well, everybody was concerned, and they thought that you were swept up in that ice raid in Mississippi today.
Yeah, right.
From your job at the packing plant.
Yes, right, right. But anyway, here's the thing. I wonder about people who are at home, and when he says, take a paper clip and put it in the back to reset it. But what if you're somebody who doesn't have a paper clip? And there
That happened
are
to me the
people in
other
this
day.
world who don't have. Do you have a paper clip around the house, Josh?
Yeah, I've got some.
Oh, okay. Do you have any, Phil?
I didn't the other day. I was trying to take my. I have a gun that you have to. When you're taking it apart, you have to use a paper clip, put it through this little hole, and it holds it in a position, and the strength of the spring.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find a paper clip anywhere. I put it back together and.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, I have a paper clip. I have a lot of paper clips, but if I didn't, what would I use? Well, I guess I could use the pen. The pen would fit in there. But I mean, I don't know what happened. It just wiped out completely
Yeah.
my Wi-Fi stations.
There was some update I did this morning on the same machine as yours, and my camera I can't adjust any of the settings in the Logitech thing. It's just all the way over to the left, and
Really?
I can't crop. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Can't change the brightness.
I also had to reset the camera here. Hold on a second. There we go.
Uh,
You notice I got a haircut today.
Oh, very nice. Is that why you're not sporting your cap?
Well, no, I'm not sporting my cap because I wanted to get back on the air and I forgot to put it on. So that caused a little problem. We do have some people who are watching right now, 13 of them. In case you just tuned in, we were off for at least the first hour of the show, if not more so.
Well, Ray was concerned. Patrick was concerned.
Wait a minute. What are you doing here? I thought you were going to go to a photo club
yeah,
tonight.
I did. And,
I called him in.
The part of what I do, I was able to get through pretty quickly, and there was a little break, so I was able to put the equipment away, and I didn't have anything in projected, so I left.
Yeah. Well, you know what the number one rule is in photo club.
What goes in photo club stays in photo club.
Don't mention photo club. Yes, don't mention photo club.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, I got out of there early.
Yeah, this is getting to be like a 3-day-a-week show the way we're going with this damn thing,
Yeah.
Which, I found when I went off for 2 nights because I was like really depressed because of the whole thing with the urologist and so on. I found when I came back, everybody liked it more. It was like they were all there, tons of them. Everybody's raring to go. Maybe I should do this show like 2 days a week or something like that, or maybe 1 day a week.
Well, people miss you. It's nice to be missed.
You could mix a weekend in here or there or something, like a Saturday night show or whatever. I remember
you mentioned to me do a Saturday night show. Yeah,
they were pretty popular. I mean, I work every other weekend right now, but I mean, if I were off on Saturday night, hell, I'd call. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Extra here and there, mix it up or something.
But
Monday afternoon, like you used to.
I've thought of a lot of things because I don't know. If
you
I
got different people on the Monday or in the afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon you get different people. Yeah, in fact, there's people that it's available to then, but it wouldn't be available to like Josh. Wouldn't be available to him.
Yeah, sometimes I work a crazy schedule. I get days off during the week when I have to work the weekend. So sometimes I'm off all day. So you never know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my schedule to change by getting a different job in the company, but right now that's what I'm working. So you never know.
The other clusterfuck.
You just surprise people and just come on whatever the fuck you want.
The other clusterfuck I'm dealing with is Albert was supposed to be here, he and his wife, tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then there was a thunderstorm in New York City, and the plane he was on landed in Virginia. And they had a choice: take a flight out at 6 in the morning, if in fact that flight even goes, because who knows with the weather, or we'll bus you up to New York. Now to begin with, I didn't hear from Albert any notion on the part of his airline that they were going to return his money to him.
Tell him to take the train.
Well, no, they were offered a bus.
Oh.
They were offered a bus.
Because the train, I think there's a
good
fast train.
Oh, no, those trains are great. But anyway, so whatever time the bus gets into Manhattan, I'm going to get a call from him downstairs wanting to get in. So, so it's one of those clusterfuck nights. And I feel sorry for them. They're starting a little vacation for a week, and all of a sudden you wind up in Virginia.
Well, hey, Rob.
Does he still live in New York?
Rob lives there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives in Florida, I think.
Did Albert move to Florida?
Albert lives in Florida now. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I must have over my head somewhere along the line.
Yeah, he lives.
I didn't know he was still in New York.
He lives in the land.
He wants to get into Mar-a-Lago, but they're not letting him in because he's a Democrat.
You get a pretty good job down there or something?
No, he isn't
Isn't he
working.
retired?
He's retired kind of.
Oh,
You know, I mean, let's put it this way: in our business,
a New Yorker retired, moved to Florida.
in
There's a
the
fucking
radio
newsflash.
business,
All he had to do was be Jewish.
we're all retired, and I think I could probably find myself a job if I wanted to take one at $35,000 a year. You know, which is beginning to look good, actually, to tell you the truth. You know, at least it'll take care of my
Supplemental income.
take care of my dental bills or something like that. Yeah, it's there's no radio business anymore, you know, and it's all gone. See, here's what happens: the radio guys go, "Well, I've left radio, but I'm going to start doing a podcast." You know what podcast means? I'm out of work in radio. That's what podcast means.
I used to tease you when you were at Camel and say, if you wouldn't take one of my requests for a song, I said, my father will send you to a CB radio station in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And you remember that?
Well, this is a step down from CB podcasts.
Yeah. Well, what happened? Josh's thing was that he wouldn't take any requests, and it was a real good reason, because if he played something, it had to be on the playlist, and he had to pick from a pie.
Well, I just coined the expression. I don't take. Somebody called up and said, "Would you play such and such?" And I would go, "I don't take no requests." And eventually, it wound up being a billboard on a freeway,
right?
Saying, "I don't take requests."
I had T-shirts made for you and Susan and myself,
and the slogan was, "I don't take no requests."
Requests, right?
Yeah.
And so what it was also is that if he played a record, they couldn't play it again for 2 hours. So
that wasn't the case. That wasn't
that's
really
what
the
he
case.
told me. And he didn't want to play anything that the jocks that would actually play music would be interested in playing. So he always played stuff that.
Oh, we had a playlist. We had stuff at that station.
Yeah, I picked the playlist for you. I had a pie. There was different colors on the pie.
Yeah.
And I had to pick albums that were in that color for that segment.
What used to drive stations crazy that played music that I did shows on was that I did not want to play music. You know,
Right.
I wanted to not do this, not necessarily do a talk show, but do an entertainment show. People come on, we joke, we have fun, we goof around. Oh, well, wait a minute, I have to go take a pee. Let's play a record. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was, that was my whole situation, and I was pretty happy not playing records, but the fact was they would then say, well, you got to play at least 6 records an hour. Okay, so I play 6 records an hour. Then I
only remember the Camel days.
Well, then when I went to another station, I made a deal, the Quake, where I said I have creative control over the program. That's part of what I want in my contract, and so that's what I had in my contract. And part of that creative control was I didn't feel like playing a fucking record, all right? Yeah. Or if I did, I'd play one, right?
Right.
And what would happen is I would work at a radio station, and the name of the game with Alex Bennett was, let's see how many records we can get him to play in an hour. So, if they wanted to penalize me because I did something wrong or something, they say, we want you to play 10 records an hour or whatever. And I go, okay. So one time I was working at, I can't remember where I was. I think it was at the Quake. And they put some kind of thing on me, and it was in my contract that I didn't have to play records, but they said, we want you to play, oh, I know, it was at Live 105, where I didn't have that in my contract, okay? And they said, as a punitive thing, we want you to play 10 records an hour. So I said, you want me to pay?
So you didn't want any commercials?
No. So here's what I did.
Yeah.
We were in stereo. So what I did was I did my talk, which went on for the whole hour, on one channel, and played the music on the other. And I said, if you want to hear the show without music, just turn
Turn it to the left.
Your little. Remember, you used to have a thing where you could do the balance, right?
Balance control.
And if you balanced it, there I was, and there was no music. You put it on the other side, there was music. Well, they went crazy over that one.
that was smart.
That drove them nuts. I said, well, that will teach you your lesson. And they said, we still want you to play 10 records an hour. So when I did one morning, is I said, I will become the most music radio station in the mornings in San Francisco. Playing the most music of any station. And so what I did is I did a lot of research, and I found as many records as I could, songs, and there are quite a few of them that were under a minute long. You know, there were people like the Bonzo Dog Band did like 1 minute things, and I'm trying to remember who else. And so we had songs that were 1 minute or a minute and a half long, and so I played them back to back for an hour. I said, we're going to play music back to back for the next hour, except for commercial breaks. And in the hour, I managed to play 35 records. And then from then on, I never played another record again, but I called myself your More Music Morning Show. We played the most music of any station in San Francisco, and I was right. So
yeah.
that's
Wasn't
how
there
I got
two
around.
versions of Inagata Davida? One that you could go to the bathroom for a long time.
Oh,
or
Inagata
get
Davida
late?
went on forever. They were what we call bathroom break records. In the early days, it was Marty Robbins, El Paso. Oddly enough,
Take a shot.
yeah. And you would put on El Paso because El Paso was 4.5 minutes long, and it was long enough to take a pee. But then,
Not at our age.
years went on, you maybe just wanted to, at 3 o'clock in the morning, fuck some woman in your studio. So you'd put on Alice's Restaurant, which was 28 minutes. Or Inagata Davida, which I think was, I don't know,
22.
22
I
minutes.
think there was an 11 or a 9 and a 22.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like doing the show this way because it's like we're doing it for those people who actually took the trouble to try and check back to see if we were going to get back on.
Josh was watching out, and he says,
And
I was coming on.
I was really tired, and then I got all invigorated with this. But anyway, so I think I have all my networks now. Yep, there it is. They come right up. Good. Son of a bitch. Well, at least I learned how to do it.
Yeah. So what was an update on the Apple, or?
No. This was something happened at FiOS, and my I have two Wi-Fis. One is Bolo Mills, and the other one is Bolo Mills Booster. Bolo Mills 5G. There's we're getting.
There's Ray.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
We're getting.
I'll turn off the sound. I'll turn it off.
Okay. All right. But what was it? It was what's the thing I was going to say? So it was Bolo Mills, and there's Bolo Mills 5G, and those weren't coming up. Okay, and I couldn't figure out why they weren't coming up. And apparently, they weren't coming up because I think at some point, the system, the FiOS system, rebooted my. Let me see here. I'm trying to look for Charlie here. Come on, give me Charlie. Give me Charlie. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's Charlie.
Wait a minute. Here we go. Let's see here. Charlie Wallace. There we go. Charles Wallace, actually, if you want to be. And let me turn that one off because that's a double of Charles Wallace. And let me see here. There we go. Wait a minute. No, that's the wrong one. This is the one I want. There we go. Hi, Charlie.
Hi.
What was I saying? What was I talking about?
You were talking about your two different
yeah.
Wi-Fi.
So those Wi-Fis were not coming up, but I think what was coming up were the two that it defaulted to. Okay.
Which was your neighbors?
Yeah, and that's why I couldn't find it. And then this guy found it after I reset it, and it took whatever I had as my Wi-Fi's and completely wiped them out. So I think it was something over at FiOS. And I'm up for I'm through with my 2-year deal with FiOS.
Oh, now they're going to raise the price?
Well, they could raise the price, but they probably don't do that. What I think they probably do, if I'm not mistaken, is what they will say to me is, "Hey, Alex, we'll give you the same deal over again if you go for another 2 years."
Maybe you get a better deal.
Or I'm going to say to them, "Hey, there's always Spectrum down the street here, and they'll give me a good deal." I just won't have to stay with you. But I prefer to stay with you since you're here, and I'm sure they'll make me a deal. I mean,
they'll give you some more networks or something.
Either that, I'll say for 24 hours, get rid of my service, and then turn it back on and give me the new deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm down 8 pounds.
Well, you're not down 8 pounds.
It's all water weight loss.
It may be water weight, but my jeans fit better.
No, it's your imagination.
It's true.
It's water weight.
Hey, if I lose any more, I'll look like Ray.
Yeah, well, as I said last night, everybody will say, "How does Phil look thin?" And the answer will be fat. So,
I found a passport that had it had a photograph of me when I was 18, and I don't know what I did with it. It's around here somewhere. I had an afro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Where do I have? Where's my? Let me get my pictures here. Where are my pictures? There they are.
I have 25 years of pictures over at my ex-wife's house. I don't have anything from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I never took them.
Actually, I'm going to have to go back too far, I think, to get to where I need to go. Here we go, towards the top here. Let's go there. Here we go. Well, here's a picture of me playing an accordion.
Okay.
That's a Photoshop thing I did. But wait a minute, where is that? Where are those pictures of me? My favorite picture is a picture of me at WIND in Chicago, and I look like a game show host. That's not it. That's not it. That's not.
Is that your Facebook one?
Huh?
Is that the one you have on Facebook?
Yeah, here. This is the picture, folks. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Huh? How's that?
It looks like Jerry Lewis.
But
doesn't it look like I should be having a game show? Isn't that a game show photo? Look at that. Yeah.
I think INS will pick you up. INS will pick you up. You look like you've invaded from across the border.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, that's fine. That's my favorite photo. Here's me with Grace Slick in a tuxedo. Look at that.
Oh. Very cool.
She's dead, isn't she?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I just assume that everybody I know is dead. Okay.
Hey, Siri, is Grace Slick dead?
Grace Slick was born October 30th, 1939, and is 79 years old.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the same age as me.
She lives in Mill Valley.
Gee, you know
Lives in Mill
something?
Valley.
All my life I wanted to fuck her, and now I probably can. Yeah.
October 30th is her birthday.
Yeah.
She went to the University of Miami.
Wow, she's 79, huh? She's still alive. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the ones you can put on your what's that list they do every year where you predict who's going to die?
Oh God.
Yeah, she'll probably live. She was never overweight.
She stopped singing because she doesn't think old people should sing rock and roll. I heard her say that.
Really?
Yeah.
She might be right. I mean, I think it's kind of, I don't know. Are the Rolling Stones just getting a little embarrassing?
What's his name? Who's the one that of the Stones that looks like he's pickled?
Well, Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. He hasn't changed.
Well, actually, what's happened is
That might be the picture during Ray.
it could very well be that heroin is a preservative. Is what is possible. But he actually, oddly enough, looks healthier today than Mick Jagger does.
Yeah.
He's weathered. He's like a fine Moroccan wallet.
Fine Corinthian leather.
Yeah.
Hey, boss, it's the plane.
Yeah. But did Grace Lick say that about people her age shouldn't be singing rock and roll? I think maybe she's right. I don't know.
I heard her say that to Ron Owens about 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably.
And she was actually making fun of Mick Jagger when she did it.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they came out with the Steel Wheels tour. Remember that years ago, the Steel Wheels tour? And I said it really should be the Steel Walker tour.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's a what can I call it? It's a miracle of modern science, okay, that Keith Richards is still alive. That somehow between one thing or another, they've managed to keep him alive. And he's clean now. But, he can get clean, but that ain't going to do away with the road weariness, as it were. But
one New Year's Day, I think I had brunch or breakfast at this hotel in Oakland. Starts with a C, the Claremont. And Keith Richards was at the next table.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything to him, and I didn't really recognize him because I didn't, but I saw him, and I knew, I put two and two together afterwards, and that was Keith Richards. And he looked dead there.
Yeah, but I can top you.
Yeah.
I was having dinner one night, and I can't remember where the restaurant was. And who was eating at the table next to me? Jackie Kennedy.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I can't remember who I was with, but he said to me, why don't you go over and tell her how much you liked her pictures in Hustler?
Yeah.
Remember those
never
pictures?
do that.
Remember those pictures?
No.
Well, no, they were pictures of her on Aristotle Onassis' yacht, naked.
Wow.
Yeah, sunbathing. I mean, come on, she's on a boat,
Yeah.
She's out in the Mediterranean. You want a full tan, right?
Wow, there was no drones then.
And somebody with a huge
Telephoto
lens from like he was over like on the
Mykonos, huh?
Mykonos or somewhere else, took some pictures and sold them to Larry Flint, who then published them in Hustler.
You live in the Bay Area, you see a lot of people that are famous, and I never interrupt someone's lunch to say something to them or their dinner. I just leave them alone, don't say a word.
Yeah. Yes.
One time I was at SFO waiting for my skis, and Alice Cooper was standing literally right next to me waiting for his golf clubs. And I'm like, shit, it's Alice Cooper. I didn't say anything. I wanted to. He's tiny. He's like 5'4" or something.
Well, I used to know Alice.
There's like nothing to the guy.
I knew Alice years ago, and I had a falling out with him because I had a falling out with his manager, and But anyway, but was a nice guy, very nice guy. Well, my favorite thing that ever happened to me is, and embarrassing at a restaurant, was Huey Lewis. I had been kidding Huey Lewis on the air constantly by saying every time anybody would mention Huey Lewis, I would say, he lived in the Bay Area. I said, that's a wig, don't you? So
Didn't
anytime
Gonzo open for him?
Huh?
Didn't Gonzo open for him?
Might have, yeah. But
All the-
but anyway, it
I'm sure.
constantly saying to me, you know, I constantly would say when somebody would mention Huey Lewis, oh yeah, it's a skull cap, it's a wig. You know? So now
Hey, I like Huey Lewis.
one night I'm at dinner and I can't remember the restaurant in Marin County, and I'm at this restaurant and I look over and at a table about 2 tables away from me is Huey. And I look at him and he looks at me, and the next thing he does is he takes his hand, grabs his hair and pulls on it. Yeah.
He's a pretty smart guy, if I remember. I thought he went to Harvard.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I think he got an MA at Harvard.
Yeah, Ray.
And if I remember right,
yeah,
I swear
have
that
a-
his roommate was Al Gore.
yeah.
Can I share
or
my
something
Huey
along
Lewis
those
story?
lines.
Your
What
Huey
else?
Lewis
I have
story?
a Huey. I have one. Yeah.
You have a Huey Lewis story?
I do. I was at an A's game and he was singing the Star Spangled Banner, and like one of the innings, I went to go to the restroom, and he comes out of the box seats just as I'm passing by, and he walks right next to me with his bodyguards. We go into the little toilet there in the trough, and it was me and Huey next to each other, peeing in the trough. He's like, "How's it going, man?" "I'm fine, man. What's going on? Great job tonight."
It's terrible when somebody recognizes you you're in a urinal and somebody comes up next to you and they turn around and go, "You're Alex Bennett, aren't you?" And they start peeing on you.
I didn't do that. He talked to me first.
But yeah, Huey was a nice guy from what I understand. I didn't know him that well, but he knew what I looked like, and I knew what he looked like, and it was a very funny moment. And we both laughed. There's nothing more embarrassing than coming up against somebody that you've been putting down on the radio because you don't have to ever meet up with them, so you can kid about them. And then all of a sudden you're face to face with them, and maybe they don't have the same sense of humor you do. You know you were doing it in good fun. You know.
You ever meet Jackson Brown?
No.
No?
No.
Just curious.
No. I could tell
I'm
you.
a big fan.
He's still alive, isn't he?
Love his politics.
Is he still alive?
He's going to be singing
he's
at
touring.
Winery in August.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. If he's still alive, I'd tell you a story about Jackson Brown, but unfortunately, he's still alive, and I don't want to get sued. So since he probably has more money than I do at the present time,
Oh yeah. Yeah, he still tours and everything. He's made quite a lot. He's been.
there was a whole group of
really
were a whole group of musicians that I just never got with. Okay, Jackson Brown was one of them. I know he was good and he was fine. I know people liked him and thought he was terrific, but I couldn't see why. It just never appealed to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, right. Music is a personal taste.
Another one who appealed, I felt about that way, was Joni Mitchell. I could never see why anybody would want to listen to Joni Mitchell.
I agree with you on that.
I never got Joni Mitchell, but she was huge. But going back to Huey Lewis, here's the interest. Does everybody know who we're talking about when we're saying Huey Lewis? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
How many hits did that guy have? He had a string of maybe 10 hits in a row. I mean, he could do no wrong.
Right.
He hit after hit after hit after hit, and all of a sudden one day, nothing. Just
Didn't
stopped.
he get sick or lose his voice or something?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
I think he
then?
moved to France for a long time.
No, but what happened?
And then he came back and wrote a musical on Broadway.
Yeah, but I would love to ask Huey. He also appeared on Broadway, I think, in one of the versions of what's that show? Oh boy, Bob Fosse did the choreography.
Cabaret.
Cabaret. Was it Cabaret? I think he did. He did a couple of months in Cabaret here in New York. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
But he he had hit after hit after hit, and all of a sudden he stopped having them. And it could be that one day he just said, "I got enough money. I don't need to keep doing this." You know?
Right.
I mean, there are people who were in the business. My father used to tell me legendarily about this musician. His name was Kay Kaiser. Kay Kaiser was, in his day, a very popular dance band. And then he had a radio show called Kay Kaiser's College of Musical Knowledge, with the college was with a K. And my father told me that the thing he always appreciated about Kay Kaiser was Kay Kaiser said, "I'm going to keep working until I make $1 million." And in those days, I guess $1 million was a lot of money. And he said the day he made the $1 million, guess what? Out of the business. Just quit. So it could be, you know, that he said, "I got enough money. I can take care of myself for the rest of my life. I can do things when I want to do them." And just didn't have any more hits because he had one fucking hit after another. He didn't ever. It was nonstop.
He has an inner ear disorder called Meniere's disease, and
that's something lately.
Yeah,
right.
he's got hearing loss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an inner ear disorder, and
well, that happens. Anyway. That happens to a lot of rock people. It happened to Peter Townsend, who.
Well, you know, you're in front of those speakers.
Yeah.
You know.
In fact, it happened to Peter Townsend so badly that at a certain point, they weren't going to disband the band, but they were going to change the name from the Who to the What? That's one of my best jokes. And that's mine.
Yeah, so
that's mine. Nobody wrote that one for me. I didn't steal that from no comic. That's my joke. You know. And I can't figure out why I thought it up and somebody didn't beat me to it, you know.
Well, somebody will steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Peter Townsend had all that stuff with child porn and things like that, but he said he was researching it or something. And,
of course, yeah.
no, but he didn't get he got away with it.
Yeah, let's look at some prepubescent vulva. That's good research.
Yeah.
He's going to write a research paper. Just hadn't gotten it published
I have
yet,
to check out how tiny a vulva can be. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
That's the one I don't understand. These guys who, you know, do the thing, go for children. I just don't understand it. You know,
there's nuts for everything. You know.
Yeah, but I don't get what the. Well, I guess it's because it's not my thing.
You know. At my age, somebody under 30 isn't attractive to me.
Yeah.
You know, they seem like kids.
I would say I would agree with you. You know, I mean, if some woman were 21 and came on to me, I don't think I'd be interested. I just wouldn't be. You know. But that's not going to happen. So why should I even postulate?
You can always pretend.
You know. At my age, it now takes me all night to do what I used to be able to do all night. So, you know, it's you know, hey, you know, we're almost running out. We've got about 5 more minutes here, and we haven't mentioned the T word all night. You know,
don't start now.
Yeah, fuck it.
Well, can I just mention one thing I thought was hilarious today? Was how this guy managed to sidestep having to bump into a Mexican. You know, I mean,
Secret Service.
He took the helicopter to the hotel, and he took the helicopter to get somewhere else, and he was, avoiding people.
El Paso is a very blue town, and the congressperson from that area didn't want him to come down. The mayor didn't want him to come down, so he did anyway. And what he did was he just visited the hospital. He visited the first responders, and that was that.
Yeah. But
they said he wasn't welcome, so he didn't. But he didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, but I think he was also avoiding it too. I think they had a plan of how they would be able to sidestep it, and the answer was helicopters, basically.
Yeah, but if they would have said, hey, we really want you to come down, we want an appearance, we want your support, I'm sure he would have. But they said, we don't want you there. So he respected that.
Well,
did what he did.
I'll tell you what I would have done to begin with, and what most presidents do in situations like that. They don't go down this soon after the event.
But if he didn't,
well, wait a minute, let me
say
finish.
he didn't go down soon enough.
No, I believe Obama had a situation in which he waited a couple of weeks before doing it because he didn't want it to seem politically motivated, number one. And secondly, he felt that they needed their own healing time without him coming into town and fucking up traffic, for instance, and so some presidents have in the past waited a few weeks before doing it. This was like what? It happened last weekend.
You can't win. It doesn't matter what he does. And even previous presidents, the opposite side will always say he didn't do it soon enough.
Look, I grant you that. But that's not a reason for you to go down this fast. I mean, what you say is those people need a few days, need to heal. They need to have their services and things like that. And then I will come by and try and be a healing force.
Well, he had a bunch of paper towels left over from Puerto
yes,
Rico.
Right, that he threw out to the people in El Paso.
All those paper towels from Puerto Rico, the governor sold them.
Did he really?
Took them back from the people he threw them to and said, hey, these are presidential towels, and he sold them and pocketed the money.
That governor, they really
had
love.
to resign.
That governor, they really love, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Trump did say he was a crooked dude.
He was a crooked dude,
Yeah.
But then again,
It was timing.
Well, in a lot of countries of a third world nature, although I don't know that we can consider Puerto Rico third world, but
Can now.
But they're usually corruption is always very rife in countries that don't have the resources. Let's say.
Now, do you like what he did to Venezuela, the Maduro campaign, by freezing all his funds and hoping that if he did that, Maduro would take what he's stolen and leave?
Well, there's a problem with that. And the problem is, who's in power right now?
Maduro.
Yeah, so it didn't work, did it?
Yeah, but if he can't get any money and they're going to sanction anybody that gives him, trades with him,
well, you know what
they'll freeze
happens
him
when
out.
you do that, though? The only problem with that I have against that is that really, in the end, you're hurting the people. Because a lot of times when you're freezing funds and things like that, you're hurting the people. And who was Maduro taking it out on? He wasn't giving them medical supplies. He wasn't giving them food. He wasn't giving them water. So better you kind of have to think about what you're doing when you do sanctions against people. I'll tell you quickly who got really smart are the Chinese.
Now they're paying for the tariffs,
No.
Because they lowered the value of their currency.
No. But, no, you're wrong, Phil. Here's what happened. They're lowering
so they can compete.
No, so they can compete. Let's say you go in, you buy a air conditioner for there's one for $200 and it's from China, and there's one for $250 in the United States. You're going to buy the one from China. Now with the tariffs, that air conditioner is now going to go up to $250. Now you probably maybe buy the American. So what do the Chinese do? They lower their currency so the price goes back down to $200.
Right. But, that means that the Chinese are paying for the tariffs, because if you lower the currency, then we're paying less for Chinese products, and it defeats the tariff. But basically, they're getting less money because they're not getting dollars at the same rate.
And that's the most politics we've talked about tonight.
Okay, that's it. I'm not going to even say what I was going to say.
What were you going to say? Say it quickly.
They have their own exchange, and they leveraged one against the other.
Yeah,
Chinese have.
Do you know when they can establish the rates on their money?
Yeah.
We go to the World Bank
at midnight every night if they want
exactly.
to. Where here in the United States we have to go through a whole process and so on. Anyway, hey, listen, this has actually been fun. Maybe I should do a short show like this, we get absolutely nothing done. We talk about pranks we pulled on rock stars, and it's been fun. Hey, listen, thank you so much, Josh. I thank you. You were the first one to call, like you were paying attention.
I was.
And Phil was, I think, checking in every now and then to see if I ever got up.
No, Josh told me.
And you sent me a text, and I couldn't text you back because I was on the phone to fucking Fios, who've been pretty good. I have to give
well,
them that.
your mishpucha, everybody wanted to know what's going on with Alex. And so I said, no.
I died of the prostate cancer. Ray, thank you so much. Charlie, thank you so much. And what I want you all to do is to give a big wave goodbye, and I will wave back at you, and that's it, okay? Well, that was a short show, and I think probably it was more enjoyable than when we do a long show. Anyway, Jack Bishop is next. He's here with the intersection over most of the same station. I will be back again tomorrow night after Damian Chaplin does the exchange at 9:30. I'll be here at 10. Okay? Eastern Daylight Time, same station in life. In the meantime, see her, tell her I love her. Okay? Bye.